welcome back to the Colouring Zone. My name's Helena. So today I'm going to be working in Mandala's Nights. This is a French company called Colour. I hope I'm saying that right. So I thought I would continue doing this one because I'm sat here colouring, and I thought, actually, do you know what? It would be really nice if I could do a get to know me tag. I saw this on Shell's colouring journey. She very much inspired me to do it. Please check out Shell's video. I will put it in the description below. Please check out her channel. She's got absolutely amazing videos. I would highly recommend. Anyway, so I will get to it. I'm not going to actually tag anyone. I don't know how long this tag has been around, so I'm just going to open it up to everyone. Anyway, so we will get started. There are 20 questions. So, yeah, we'll see how we get on. So, the first question, I'm going to be using some Tombows and also some... I've got a Holbein here, and I've also got a Prisma that I've also been using. They just happen to be next to me. There's no rhyme or reason, really. It's just what's next to me, and I just felt like colouring this page, so we'll go with it. So the first question is, where do you live? So I live in Devon in the United Kingdom. I moved from Bristol, and then I've moved back to Devon. So I was in Bristol for quite a few years, I think around... So I was in Bristol for 7 years, and it was one of the hardest things moving away, but I did it to do my degree, and now I have come back with my husband and my son. So yes, so the next question is, when did you start colouring? So I started colouring when it was in... I think it was either August or September of 2014. Now, August 2014 is a month and a day that will always be with me, because I had a major car accident in August of 2014. And it was a long recovery, so I used colouring as a means of something to do, occupying my time. I went from working and you know, doing all the normal things that a 22-year-old or however old I was at the time does, and then suddenly I had a car accident and I could not do anything. I mean, I couldn't even do the most basic things like, you know, yeah, like rolling myself in bed. So anyway, that's when I started colouring. I started colouring sort of like patterned books, like anti-stress. They're always advertised. As soon as you type in adult colouring books, it comes up with these like massive patterny books, and that's what I sort of started with. And then I saw that actually, when I started to really get into it, I saw that Joanna Basford's Secret Garden was out, and then I was totally hooked. I think Secret Garden was out, but it was actually Enchanted Forest. It was a particular page that was the reason that was like the turning point where I was absolutely hooked. And don't get me wrong, I did loads of those colouring books, like the patterny books, and I still own a few. I don't think I'll ever go back to them, but you can never say never. But I do still have a few, particularly ones that I've completed lots of pages in, because obviously it's part of my journey. So yeah, the next question is, why did you start your YouTube channel? I was umming and ahhing for ages. I can't remember when I started, what year it was that I started watching colour YouTube. But I remember, like many of us, watching Peter Hewitt. And she, oh, I just absolutely loved it. And she was, and also always colouring. Yes, I used to watch her videos. I really need to go back to them. She was a lovely girl called Katrina. Unfortunately, she was taken away very early in her life. Yeah, so, but anyway, yeah, absolutely brilliant tutorials from both of those YouTubers, and Katrina's videos are still up, which I think is absolutely wonderful because we can still enjoy them. So did I actually answer that question? I think really the reason why I started it, it was when I had I think it's when I had my son. I was really struggling with the thought of going back to colouring after I had my son because it was just so traumatic. And it was actually colour YouTube that really, although I couldn't colour, I was watching it, and it was actually the Colour Cave. She was sort of the first sort of YouTuber that I started watching again after having my son. And I just remember being in a hospital bed and just, you know, yeah, I always remember like sitting there with or lying on the bed with my son, who was only a few days old, and just watching it together. But yeah, I just could not bring myself to colour at the time. It was just such a stressful period. So yeah, and I think that was the reason why I then really understood the impact that actually YouTubers can have on someone. And that's when I decided to actually just do it. I think it was a few months later, so it was in January of 2021 that I actually started my channel. So, you know, we're at sort of 2 years now. It has gone very quickly. And yeah, and I'm so glad I did it because it was something that was always in the back of my mind. And I do actually have a video that I am planning to do on the benefits and the disadvantages of being a YouTuber. If that's something that would interest you, please let me know in the comments below. Yeah, I'm going to be talking about a few things in that video. But yeah, so I became a YouTuber because of how much YouTube actually helped me in that really difficult time where I'd had my son and I was recovering. So yeah, and I thought, all right, I'm going to give back, and you know, if someone gets some enjoyment out of it, then that's great. So that is a very long-winded reason, but there you go. Other than colouring, what do you like to do in your free time? So colouring is definitely my hobby. It is a staple in my life. I sometimes will go like a day of not colouring, but it's quite rare. It is normally every day. So that does take up quite a bit of my time, and obviously I have got a young child and also a husband. But the other thing that I like to do is watch YouTube, and so I like, obviously, you know, us colour tubers, I watch quite a few, but I also really like true crime videos, and there are a couple of YouTubers and people on Facebook, I think that they're pretty much the same but on social media. So a couple of them are Candel Ray, I think her name is, and also Bailey Sarian and Coffee House Crime. And I absolutely love like true crime sort of videos, and they cover like cases and stuff, and I just find it really interesting. So yes. So the next question is, oh, and the other thing that I've been doing, which I just cannot get enough of, and I've played for like 22 hours already, is Hogwarts Legacy. And oh my god, that game is amazing. So yeah, absolutely loving that. I do really like, there's certain games that I really like watching my husband play. They're not games that I would probably play myself, because I would probably end up chucking the controller into the TV because they're quite scary. So for example, what's a good one? Last of Us, where there are like zombies or something and they jump out at you. Like, yeah, I think I probably would damage things around me because I'd just be so scared that I'd chuck something. So yeah, I just watched my husband play them, and they are basically like movies, which is great. So, but yeah, Hogwarts Legacy, well, the tables are turned. My husband's watching me play that, and it always used to be the other way around. So that's quite fun. And the next question is, where do you work? So I work in healthcare. I think I might have mentioned this before. I work in healthcare and I work as a occupational therapist. So that's what I did my degree in, and I qualified in, what year was it? It was 2018 when I qualified. So yeah, I've been doing it for a few years now and I really enjoy it. I am very glad that I found my profession, and yeah, so I thought it was really interesting. Shell disclosed that she's actually a dentist, and I would not have guessed that. I think it's really interesting actually knowing what people do in their everyday, like as their profession. So yeah, anyway, so next question is, what are 3 random facts about you? Ooh, random facts. So random facts: I'm born on Christmas Day. People find that quite random and surprising, so I thought I'd mention that. And I suppose I actually have an identical birthmark to my dad. In appearance and where it is identical. And funnily enough, my son has a birthmark which is identical to my own. So yeah, very unusual. I don't know whether that's like a common thing. I've not heard of it. Like I've not really like known anyone to have like a similar or the same birthmark as their parent. But yeah, if any of you have got similar birthmarks to your parents, let me know. Or have your children got similar birthmarks to you? I'd be really interested. So yeah, drop me a comment in the below. And so the next question is, what is your favourite colouring book right now? Oh, that's an interesting one. So I would probably say, which one have I been colouring out of a lot? I would say The Little Secrets from My Fairy House by Clara Markova. I can't remember whether I've actually released that video or not, or whether you're going to see that before this one, I'm not sure. But I do sort of a flip, and it's a bit of a sort of sneak peek of my complete pages. So yeah, I've been colouring in that on there quite a bit. So I would say that's probably my favourite colouring book right now. And the next question is, what is your favourite colouring medium right now? I mean, I've been using alcohol markers and water-based markers, but then I've been combining them with pencil. I don't really stick to one colouring medium because I tend to use like a combination of them, and that's just sort of what I enjoy doing. So yeah, So the next question is, how many colouring books have you completed? So I can say I have completed 1 colouring book, I think. The colouring book that I completed was Holiday Sprites by Mita. Oh gosh, I'm not going to remember her name or how to pronounce it. I will put the link down below, and I'll also put the name of the illustrator. So it was actually a PDF that I purchased, and yeah, I thoroughly enjoyed it. I think it was not last Christmas, but the Christmas before. I did loads of them. I think there's about 20, and I printed it out on cardstock. And then I'm really close to finishing this book. I'm not sure if there's another one. I think that's it. And you know, I plan to colour. I'm sure I've said this before on my channel. I intend to colour until beyond retirement. So although I'm collecting a lot of books and colouring in them, like, I cannot see me not colouring in the future. So I think eventually, maybe I will. Maybe I'll finish some more. Who knows? Yeah, so there's that one. Now, the next question is, do you have any secret skills? Oh, secret skills. I'm trying to think if I've got like a party trick. I don't really. It's not really a skill, but I can roll my tongue. I can roll my tongue around and twist it like 180 degrees. So then the bottom part of my tongue appears like it's the top. It's not really a skill, but it's just something I can do. I don't know whether that counts. The next question is, do you collect anything? Yes, I do. I collect and use colouring books as well as art supplies, and I don't really collect anything else. We started buying / collecting Lego, but it's so expensive, and actually as soon as my son started to move around and, you know, he was obviously pulling himself up on things, now he's everywhere, he jumps around and runs because he's 2. But yeah, we put all the Lego away because they're really, really small pieces. And of course, if any of you have got young children or have had young children, you'll know that they put everything in their mouth. So it just posed a real choking hazard, and we've not really got it back out again, which is such a shame. But then I do think actually Lego might be something that our son is really interested in when he's a bit older, and when he's the appropriate age for it. But yeah, so it's the adult sets that we've got where they're like really quite complicated builds. So yeah. So, what is your greatest accomplishment in life so far? Ooh, there's been quite a few things. My son. I spoke, like, he's just absolutely amazing. And I love him dearly. Yeah, I would say probably my son. I think, getting back to driving was such a massive deal for me after I had my car accident. So I wasn't the driver, I was actually a passenger. So going back to driving was a massive accomplishment, and actually like learning to drive in the first place, like it took me, well, it felt like forever it took me to learn how to drive. So yeah, and I suppose other accomplishments is, yeah, my son getting over my car accident, and also getting back behind a wheel again. I suppose they're all accomplishments, but my son is definitely my greatest. So the next question is, what is your favourite childhood memory? I don't know whether I've got like one favourite. I've got memories of, you know, like holidays and stuff, but more specific memories. I would say going swimming with my mum and my sisters, and then we would get an ice cream after. I've got some really nice memories of that. Playing like snooker with my dad. And the other thing that I was going to say, actually, the other really lovely memory that I've got is my mum cooking in the kitchen, and the radio, or a big CD player at the time it was, or, oh no, I don't think it was a CD. Oh no, it might have been a CD player, but it was huge. It was like a CD/radio player / tape, I think. It was quite old, but it was massive. And my mum was listening to Cat Stevens and she was singing along, and I just remember it being a really nice moment. Yeah. So the next question is, what are you passionate about? I am passionate about colouring. I'm passionate about working in healthcare, and helping people, and I'm passionate about, you know, always remembering actually why we're doing it. So remembering that actually, you know, we're working with people, and to be person-centred and not to get caught up in the whole, you know, in the whole system and lose sight of what actually it is that we're doing in our everyday at work, within that field. So that's something I'm very passionate about, and it's also something that I do challenge people about if they're if I think that that's not their main focus and it's more on, like, you know, hospital flow and stuff. But anyway, I won't get into that too much. I'm really liking how this is coming out, actually. I do want to put some like paints and stuff, but yeah, we'll see. So the next thing is, what is something that always makes you smile? I mean, I suppose something that always makes me smile and sort of chuckle to myself when I'm like really, you know, I'm having like a really hard day. Obviously I can think about my son and what he's doing and what my husband are doing. But there's a particular, there's two things actually. So it's a bit mean because it was a sort of, well, so my friend, when we were in college, she was chatting to me and my other friend. We were both sat on this like grassy area and we were eating sweets. So we would have been about 16, and my friend was chatting to us and she was saying that we needed to go back to class because our break was almost over. And I just thought it was so funny because she was the person that was always late, and yet at that particular time she was really like trying to get us to go back because she didn't want to be late for some reason. So that's quite funny. But in the process of us talking to us, she's walking backwards and she fell over the curb of the pavement, and she just sort of like fell like this. She was just like, woo! She didn't hurt herself, fortunately. Wasn't that good of a friend. I was laughing so hard that I couldn't actually physically get myself up to go and see to her. Yeah, I was, it took me a while. You know when you're laughing so hard that all of your muscles are sort of tensing and relaxing, and I just could not stand. And I sort of had like a mouthful of sweets as well. So, yeah, bless her. But yeah, the person, I'm not going to say her name, but she'll know, she'll know that scenario. I have reminded of her a few times. We're still good friends, which is lovely. Yeah, so anyway, the next one is name 3 colouring books that are on your wish list. I'm a bit rubbish when it comes to updating my wish list, particularly on Amazon. And I suppose, so it's not arrived yet, so I don't know whether it's not really on my wish list because I've already bought it and I'm just waiting for it to, so that's Mel Pamini Chatsy Pansy 2. Completely butchering that probably. I just buy so many books, guys, that like I've got them. Yeah. I've recently bought Hannah Carlson's City book, City Among the Stars. So Collage Wild is on my mental wish list. Like, I'm very aware of it. I've only got a couple of her books, and the new one that I bought is new to me, that I bought in France last year. I still have not coloured in it, and I really don't know why. I mean, I have got loads of books, so that's probably why. And then the other ones, I would definitely like more of these colour your books, particularly the ones with the black backgrounds. I really do like them. But then saying that, it probably would be good for a change to have the white backgrounds, because then I've already got like this one. But I do really, really enjoy these. And then the third one, I suppose like in general, there's certain artists that as soon as they release something, I will just buy it. I won't wait to see it flip through. I don't do that. I literally will just buy it. And that's mostly like Hannah Carlson, Joanna Basford, Clara Markova, oh yeah, Lulu Mayo, and Rita Berman. So I will just, yeah. And also Mel Pamini Chatsy Pansy 2. Any colouring book that they release, I will buy. I know it took me quite a while to get the stars, Among the Stars, but typically I think I do prefer the bigger style and the thicker books, to be honest. I don't know, I just feel like the paper in the smaller books that Hannah's come out with, it seems to be thinner paper, but I don't know whether it's just me that thinks that. And I can't remember what other people have said, but I do feel like it's more transparent, the paper. But anyway, yeah. So the next question is, what is your favourite random fact? So it's not my favourite. I don't really know many like random facts. But hedgehogs, because I recently went to a farm and there was a bit of a talk about it, and I love hedgehogs. I think they're so cute. Hedgehogs, so feeding them, they've got a very, very specialised diet, but something that they recommend if you're wanting to put food out for a hedgehog, then you can put out cat food, which I thought was really interesting. I don't have a cat, I don't have any animals, but yeah, if you're a cat owner and you want to help a hedgehog, by all means put out cat food and they can eat it and it won't hurt their stomachs, because they've got a very, very sensitive stomach. And they also really, even like really hot weather and things like that, then they do, and you want to help them out, then you can actually give them water. So yeah, they're random fun facts. They're not favourite of mine, I just happen to know them because they're fresh in my mind. Oh, and the other one actually is that, I don't know whether it's just the UK, I'm not sure, but March is the coldest time to be in the sea. March time is the coldest, which I thought was very interesting, because you would think that it would be December, but no, it's March. Yeah, so there's some fun facts. Now, the next question is, what colouring book do you wish existed? Oh, that's a really good question. I wish that all colouring books were printed on really, really good paper and they were spiral bound. I would love like a pocket-sized, like really cute, like fairyland sort of pocket book that's spiral bound and really nice paper. But you know, I'm sure that I could go on Etsy and something will come up similar, and then I can get it spiral bound and do it that way and have it printed on really nice cardstock. But you know, I've had some issues when it comes to I've had some issues when it comes to getting a good place to actually do the spiral bound, which is why I've actually bought a cinch machine, which costs quite a lot of money. And I've tried it once and it didn't work out very well. But it's not going to deter me. I've just not got around to trying it out again. So I do hope to be able to use that rather than relying on going somewhere to get it done. In Bristol, I found a particular company that would do it, or they would disassemble the book and then they would actually, you know, put it, they would the pages out and get all of the glue binding and the stitch off and all of that stuff. But yeah, unfortunately in Devon, where I am currently living, they don't seem to have that. You have to like actually disassemble it yourself, which it's a bit of a hack job and they don't have the tools either there. So really next time I'm going to have to do it from home and then take it in. So I just think that takes out, you know, that's like what I want. I want someone else to be doing it for me. But you know, you never know. I'll watch a few more videos. I did watch Colour Me Stress Free's video that she did quite a few years ago, where she showed how she used the machine, and she did give really good advice. And don't just do it on a scrap bit of paper, and you know, and I did do that, but I didn't. It's different when you're doing like a stack of paper that's quite thick, because it's obviously not. It's not paper, printer paper that I'm actually printing my pages on. So yeah, that was a really, really long-winded answer again. But anyway, so what is a challenge that you have faced and overcome? Well, I've really touched upon this quite a bit, haven't I? So yeah, I would definitely say, it's getting my life back together after I had that really significant and severe car accident, and going back to driving. They were really massive challenges. Yeah, so I would say probably, you know, I've spoken quite a bit about that earlier on in this video, but yeah, so I would say they're the main challenges. I suppose another challenge was actually plucking up the courage and moving away. I mean, you know, I was obviously an adult. I was like 20 something. Anyway, yeah, so it was a really big challenge, because I was meant to be going and starting my university degree, and then I was meant to be starting it in September of 2014, and I had my car accident, and then I had to defer, which just, it broke my heart. But you know, it was, yeah, the university obviously were really, really good about it. And yeah, so I started the year after. But moving away from my family after such a big ordeal was a massive, massive thing for me. And I think it would have been anyway, even if I hadn't have had that car accident. But I think it was particularly harder because, you know, something so significant happened. But yeah, so I overcame it. We stayed there for the 3 years, which, you know, my degree lasted for. And then within that 3 years, we bought a house, and yeah, we stayed there 7 years in total. So yeah. And actually moving back to Devon, and moving back to be closer to our families was actually really, really hard. Because my husband was just so settled. Well, he thought he was settled in Bristol, but it just wasn't working. The childcare was a lot more expensive, and yeah, so I'm really glad that, you know, we did move back, but the challenge was trying to convince my husband that it was a good idea, and that took many months. So yeah. Now, the last question is, what is the strangest food combination you enjoy? Well, I've got a few, guys. So I really enjoy McFlurry, and I use my chips to dip into it. So that's quite a weird food combination for a lot of people. The other combination that I really enjoy is having like jam and butter on crumpets. I really like cheese and jam sandwiches, not so much recently, but it's something that my granddad sort of, you know, mentioned. I don't know whether it's a Scottish thing because he was from Scotland, but yeah, so those are quite unusual. And yeah, chips and ice cream is really not for everyone. My husband cringes when I do it, and he doesn't like me doing it in public either. So anyway, but there we go. So I've almost actually finished this, which is quite good. This was a lot longer, this video, than what I thought it was going to be. Anyway, I hope you've enjoyed. Thank you very much for watching, and please drop me a comment down below. Give this video a thumbs up if you enjoyed, and consider subscribing if you haven't already. All the usual YouTube stuff. But yeah, let me know in the comments below what you're actually colouring at the moment. What is your favourite book that you're working in at the moment? Anyway, I will leave it there. Thank you very much for watching. Take care and happy colouring. Bye.